Hi everyone, I hope we're all doing really well. Today I'm coming at you with a brand new video, and this one is going to be the 3 money management systems that I think could really benefit you if you pick just one of the 3 that I'll be talking about today. But before we get into it, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified each time I upload a brand new video. Let's get into it. Now, a lot of people might not know this about me, but I'm actually really into finances. I love sitting down and checking my finances every single month and putting down all of the different things that I have to pay, paying myself, paying stocks, paying bills, all of that kind of stuff. I love going over what I'm owing and what my goals are and how I'm going to stick to them and how I plan to keep on earning more as the months and years go by, making sure that I stick to my short-term and long-term plans. I'm really into anything to do with numbers and finances. I've recently been reading a lot more to do with financial management. I think that we could all use a little brush up here and there, and I got stuck on 3 books that I really enjoyed lately. I have not even read Think Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill yet, which is literally next on my bookshelf. Like, I have a bookshelf and everything is stacked to like read this next, read this next, read this next. So Think and Grow Rich is next. But the 3 books that I'm going to be talking about today, and they're 3 different financial money management systems, are Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape, and I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. They basically all have their own bucket management money systems. Now, what is a bucket money management system or jar money management system? Let's just say you get paid out of one funnel, your income. Let's just say you get paid $5,000 per month, and that's one funnel going into one jar, right? Your savings jar. But what happens if you have a jar for your bills, and then for your long-term savings, and then for your short-term savings, and then for your debt? I've always had these kind of money management systems set up, but once I read these 3 books, one after another, I realized that maybe I should go in a little bit deeper and make specific accounts for specific things like these 3 money management systems talk about. I want to tell you guys the 3 that are talked about in these 3 books and which one I think I'm going to be picking and how it's going to benefit me in the long run. These are all really different, so stay tuned to know which one I'm going to pick and which one I think is the best one. Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker talks about 6 different bucket money management systems. Now, 55% of your entire monthly income should go into the necessities bucket as soon as you get paid, right? So that includes rent, food, electricity, and bills. You pay yourself first and it goes into one savings account, right? 10% goes into financial freedom. That goes to stocks, mutual funds, passive income, real estate investing, any other type of investment, including a 401k or a superannuation, as we like to call it in Australia. And 10% goes into play, which is spoiling yourself, as I like to call it, treat yourself, and your family, leisurely expenses, all of that type of stuff. And then 10% of your monthly income goes into education. That's coaching, mentoring, books and courses, all of that kind of stuff. You put it in a different account, and that money is for spending on whatever you want to do with that stuff. If stuff is left over, great, you can put it into your debt or anything like that. 5% goes into give, which is charitable donations, which is really cool, I think. And so let's just say you earn $5,000 per month after tax for the purposes of just easy math, quick math. So that's like 2.7k every single month goes towards bills, rent, your phone bill, everything to do with that. It goes into one account, and everything that's automated will already be taken out, so you're paying yourself and you don't even have to think about it or touch it or put it into any type of savings. It all just goes into all the different funnels. I think this is really great, which means that if you are paying yourself for play, like $500 per month goes into whatever you want. Now that's great, because when we're spending every single day, we don't really necessarily understand, our human mind doesn't understand how much we actually pay for. And then it's like a year after or 2 years after, you're sitting down looking at your taxes or your accounts and your financial statements, and you're like, where did all this money go? I earned this much, how did I lose everything? Like, am I being scammed? This was so much like me. I used to just have 3 accounts. So I'd have my savings, and then I'd have my emergency fund, and then I'd just have like, oh, I'll just pay myself whatever is left over. Whenever you have that mentality of whatever is left over, that's when you start spending irrationally. I started dipping into my financial freedom or emergency savings account, and I used to owe myself so much money after that, and it would roll over every single month and keep on accumulating. And when I'm paying for the stuff, I'm like, oh, this is nothing, but then it adds up. Coming from a person that during uni, I would literally save absolutely every single dollar to put into traveling. I was so frugal with everything. When I started getting a full-time job, it was a little bit harder for me to differentiate that, and I'd be like, oh, I have like plenty of money left over and I have plenty of savings, so I'm just gonna dip in really quickly, like this is gonna be fine. I'm gonna easily pay myself back the next month after getting paid, and then it started to accumulate. So once you know that you have $500 per month on Tom Ford perfumes, or you really like that outfit in Seed and it's like $200, well, you can take that and be like, this is my treat myself moment, and then you have to prioritize. Granted, you can put 50% into your play account. You just have to prioritize what's more important to you. So let's go on. So the next one is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Semi. So he says 50 to 60% for fixed costs, which is rent, cell phone, utilities, medical insurance, bills, public transport, loans, groceries, clothes, and the internet. I found it interesting that he put clothes into fixed costs, because you could definitely wear the same outfits over and over again and rock it and not have it be a fixed cost. A lot of people obviously are into fast fashion or are just buying heaps of different things to keep up with trends and styles. So I don't think that necessarily fixed costs should go into the clothes, but that's what he put in there. And then 5% he says is stocks, 401k, Roth IRA, and I'm guessing anything to do with investment, which is the same as financial freedom for Millionaire Mind, but instead of 10%, it'll be 5%, which I found really interesting. And then 20 to 30% for guilt-free spending, which is movies, bars, restaurants, coffee, all of those really short-term things that are going to be gone after a day, but he says 20 to 30%, which I think is such a generous amount, you guys, it's crazy. And then the rest goes into savings, which is vacation, wedding, house down payment. Now, this is a very simplistic way of going about things, but what I like about it is that it does account for that guilt-free spending if you don't want to put everything in your savings account or into your debt or into anything like that. He talks about a lot in his books that longevity and is more sustainable than, you know, getting paid $5,000 and then putting all of it into stocks and then paying off your debt, and it's like 4.5k of that money goes to that, and you're just like, oh my god, like I'm living off noodles for the rest of the month. No, he talks about sustainability and longevity, which I think is really smart as well. Let's go on to the next one, and this is an Australian financial advisor, Scott Pape. He has written The Barefoot Investor, and for my American friends, he's very, very highly acclaimed in Australia. A lot of people look to him for financial advice, and he talks about 3 buckets. So this is really interesting. When I first read it back in 2019, I didn't really understand the way that it was set up. I actually had to go on YouTube and watch a couple of videos to truly understand what he meant by these 3, but let me explain it to you. So he has 3 buckets, which is below, mojo, and grow. So in his below bucket, there is different types of, funnels going into different, things. So 60% is meant to be for daily expenses, which is, and this is going into detail now, 30% should be on rent, 5 to 10 should be on power, gas, water, broadband, phones, and all of that. 5 to 10% should be on transport, depending if you take public transport or you own a car. 5% on insurance, and 5 to 10% on food. I think that's great. It's so in depth, and all of these, by the way, say that this should be something that you should follow, but if you have different priorities or a different way of lifestyle, you could definitely tailor it to yourself. So 20% is for fire extinguisher. At first I read that, I was like, well, what does that mean? For paying off debt, and then you put the rest of it into Mojo, which I'll be talking about later, for 6 months of expenses if anything happens. So Mojo, I think, and fire extinguisher is the same type of thing. I'll go into Mojo a little bit later. It's an emergency account, but Blow, I think, is more for short-term emergencies as opposed to long-term emergencies. So then 10% goes to Smile, which is long-term spending, which is something that you want to do. For example, travel, getting new cars, anything that's long-term. And then 10% is for splurging in the short term. anything you want, like coffee, makeup, clothing, you know, things that are high fashion or like keeping up with style or trends, anything like that. Skincare should all be put on to the 10% of splurging account. And then the Mojo bucket is an emergency account. You only touch it if you lose your job or you get sick, and you're meant to put $2,000 down as a base payment into your bucket account and put that in like a high interest rate savings account so it can grow over time. And it's your job to save up about 6 months of expenses into that. Now, he doesn't say how much percentage to go into the Mojo account unless I just wasn't reading it correctly, but basically you should put in about 6 months of, say you get fired from your job, if you don't have a job lined up really straight away, you could live off of that Mojo account for the next 6 months. And then the next one is grow. So this is anything from superannuation to mortgages to debt and student loans and all of that. 15% of repaying your mortgage, and then 15% into shares, education savings, property investment, super rollover, super funds, all of that. And he said that you should have 15% of your entire income, like have your HR department or managerial editors, whoever deals with superannuation, to be specifically paid 15% of your income into superannuation. In my opinion, I really like the Millionaire Mind one the best. I haven't read Think and Grow Rich. I'm not sure if they talk about buckets as well. I'm so into this bucket thing because I definitely remember for years I would put everything into one financial freedom / emergency account, but towards the end I would start dipping into it so much and I had to pay off so much to myself, granted, but I still had to pay it off because I made a deal with myself to put a certain amount into a savings account, a certain amount into bills, and a certain amount, whatever is left over, I can spend for myself, which is not a good way to go. Every single percentage of your money should go into different savings account, which I think is super smart and will grow your money long term over time. So what do you guys think? What is the best bucket money management that you've heard out of those three? Do you guys have anything to add, or do you have any other money management buckets that you'd like to share with me? I'm so up for these buckets. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope that this provided you with some value, and I'll see you in the next video. Again, please make sure to like this video and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you never miss a video of mine again. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!